What about you, Johnny? What would you say is your most favorite tour experience in the Kentucky Bourbon Trail?
Um, I really have to agree with Mike's Jim Beam experience. I really did enjoy that. I thought it was very, very cool that we got to do all of those extra things. Um, I've yet to go on the Wild Turkey Tour because it's been closed
Mhm.
forever, and so it's
Two
just
thumbs down.
it's really
Wild
obnoxious
turkey.
that it keeps being closed, and I haven't been able to do that. And my dad is also still upset about that. He keeps wanting to go. He checks like every day. I'm not kidding. Like just it's wild. But I've enjoyed a lot of different experiences. The Bullet actually tour, the first one that we ever went to, was cool. It really kind of gave you a really nice behind the scenes of a new distillery, of something that was kind of state of the art, new, different things. And they do it a little different. They put the bourbon on pallets instead of in rickhouses and racks. They put it all on pallets so they can move it
Interesting.
around. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And they still have not used their own distillate as of today yet. So hopefully that all works out. But
Yeah, this is the Bullet Distillery, right?
yeah,
Yeah, because I remember that. And I agree. I mean, I'd only been once, and I think when you and I went initially, we only went to maybe three or four at the time distilleries. But
that
the
that was the only actual tour that we
but
did
that was
though.
the full tour, yeah. And so that Bullet, I was very impressed with their tour and how they did it. Everything was very high tech, and their marketing and PR for their bourbon, which makes sense too in terms of how popular they are at the bar. You always see that, you always recognize the Bullet bottle because of the way
Yeah,
it's shaped, but also just the PR that they do for Bullet is, I feel like, one of the best out of a lot of the distilleries that are out there.
I
Uh,
agree.
yeah. So before we wrap up, my last question, kind of a two-parter question, I guess, would be what made you guys start this Battling with Bourbon YouTube channel? What made you want to do it? And what is something, for people who might be new to bourbon, or even, people who are, who've been dabbling in it the last couple of years, what is something that that you would want people to know about bourbon, and why they should invest in it and appreciate it the way that you guys appreciate it.
Yeah, what was the first part of that two-parter
The
question?
Battling with Bourbon YouTube channel, what made you guys start that?
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I've been a collector my entire life, from basketball cards to Pokemon cards to Beanie Babies to action figures to comic books to Disney memorabilia to most recently bourbon. And on a lot of those ventures, I've always felt like I could slash should be trying to do something, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty introvert. I'm also pretty shy unless you get to know me. So I'm a lot really kept to myself. But it was just one of those things where, me and Johnny, we've clicked since 14 years old. Our personalities mesh well with each other. And between his knowledge and your how to, it didn't really make sense for us not to try. So in the first couple of videos, you notice I'm in a tank top, I'm in some shorts, my hair's all freaking crazy. And it was because I was coming home from the water park and I told John, hey, I'm on the way. We're filming this. And he said, all right.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in basketball shorts with this regular t-shirt on. And it was just like, let's just do it. Let's make this happen. And we filmed all those first initial episodes on the couch in that one night, and we just had a blast doing it. And it like we've been talking about these bourbons so much. We talk on the phone like about this stuff all the time. Every day we talk about different bottles that are coming out and what we should be hunting and different things like that. And um, this this YouTube show is just a way for us to. It almost forces us to experience it together.
Correct.
It forces us to get together and experience these bottles that we've worked so hard to get and spent our hard-earned money obtaining, and experience them together. It's a camaraderie.
It's
It's
too sweet.
yeah, it's too sweet. No, it's just it's something special, and I really I value the time that we've had to do this, and I hope it catches on so we can keep doing it as long as we can.
And the second part of your question, you said pertain to what would I tell new bourbon consumers?
Yeah, like what's something that you want people to know about bourbon that might
Yeah.
just be getting into it?
So if you think bourbon's a mixer, for sure, if you mix it with Coke, it about all tastes the same. But if you didn't know and you just started drinking bourbon on your own and you just started drinking it neat and you didn't like what you tried, my advice is to try something else. Because have I never mixed it with bourbon, I would never know that they have all these different profiles. So to be bourbon, it actually has some certain rules to follow in order to be bourbon. One of those needs to be at least 51% corn. It needs to be in a new charred American barrel, and it needs to be at least 4 years aged. Right. So some people, okay, it's all the same. But what you don't know is that other 49% could be rye, could be barley, could be wheat. And those things are going to add to the profile that it delivers to your taste buds. So you may try a Russell's 10, and we love it because of the oak and the spiciness. And you may give it and be like, holy crap, I'm going to get heartburn tomorrow. Well, don't quit there. Gravitate to Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill is going to hit you with the caramel, the nose, and less oak. And in which case you may not feel the heartburn. That's probably my 2 cents.
And I would also add to that too, because I remember, I think we did do a tasting at Heaven Hill Distillery as well, that they had you do it with, they gave you like a vial of water. So they would, you try the bourbon first neat, and then they would say, okay, now put a couple drops of water in it, let it sit for a minute, and then try it again. So, and that's the thing too, is even though you guys drink your bourbon neat, there are some bourbons that I only like if there's an ice cube in it, or if it, has a little bit of water. And so there's different ways I feel like people can mess with it that outside of just either drinking it neat or in a cocktail,
I'm actually glad you brought that up because that totally elapsed from my memory until you said it, but you're 100% correct on that. When we went to our Heaven Hill bourbon experience, there were some of them that I thought was a little too hit me in the chest, or I felt like I was going to get acid reflux, and I took them up on that flick of water, as they call it, a little flick of water. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to use the word open up because I don't necessarily think it opened up the bourbon, but it definitely made it experienceable for me, because had I not put the flick of water in there, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much just because of the after notes. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And that's why, I tell everybody there's no wrong way to drink your bourbon. If you're drinking, you're doing it all right.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that, bourbon is something that a lot of people think are like, a gentleman's drink that somebody drinks neat in a dark room with a cigar. That's like, sometimes that happens, like where they get that experience in their head where like, that's bourbon. Bourbon can be all sorts of things to all sorts of people. I mean, you can have a nice bourbon lemonade. You can have a nice bourbon ginger ale, and it could be a fruity summer cocktail. Or you can have a bourbon on the rocks on a hot day, and it could be refreshing. Or you can enjoy it neat and enjoy the flavors in it. But it can be more than that, than this very simple, it's something you drink neat by a fireplace with a cigar. Like it's definitely more than that. And if you've never tried bourbon, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, because if you like dessert some way along the lines that, like, you like caramel, you like vanilla, I mean, there's probably a bourbon out there that you will like.
If you never tried bourbon, you're probably not watching this channel.
True. You never know.
That's a valid point. But you could have mutual friends that might check this out, that might
sure
for us, just to check it out.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, thank you both for having me on this special episode. Again, this was, we wanted to do this in honor of Bourbon Heritage Month, and just for folks to kind of get to know you both on a more of a personal level. We kind of jumped into the review videos, I think, right away, but I think it's important for people and viewers to know why, they should watch you and why they should subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I appreciate all the information and the insight and the personal stories. And we'll see you guys next time, Battling with Bourbon.
Thank you much. We appreciate it as well. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be able to do this for us.
Thank you, Producer Pam.
Producer Pam.